In. Again, I'd like to welcome you all to today's advanced training, which will be covering creating your own Zoom account on your iPads. I'm going to read our disclaimer before we get started. The WildTech DC Senior iPad program, its owners and presenters offer technical assistance, virtual health, well-being information designed for educational purposes only. You should not rely on the information in any applications or topics made by WildTech, including but not limited to mobile device applications and any social media pages maintained by WildTech, its owners or presenters as a substitute for professional health advice, diagnosis, treatment, or legal advice. Thank you so much for letting me read the disclaimer. If you cannot see me, hear me, or see the screen, please let me know in the chat, and I would appreciate that. And let's just keep our TVs and cell phones in mind, so that way we can give ourselves and others the best and most immersive experience as possible. And thank you so much for your consideration. In order to keep our meetings organized and have some kind of etiquette, I ask that you use the raise hand feature. So basically, again, learning how to raise your hand virtually. So either during or at the end of our sessions, you'll have the opportunity to ask questions, comment, concern, reaction, etc. Whatever you like to share, just by raising your hand. You do that by tapping more at the top right of Zoom, okay? And then you tap raise hand. Okay, if your Zoom is updated and your bar is at the bottom for whatever reason, you'll hit reactions and then you'll hit raise hand. But again, I want everyone in Zoom to please raise their hand so you know you're here, present, ready to learn something new today. Have fun. You raised your hand because you enjoyed your weekend. Happy to see all of you on today to learn something new. Start your week off with some knowledge, which I hope makes your whole week a great experience. So thank you all. Wow, we reached 12 hands. Appreciate that. We have about 18 folks on, so I really appreciate that. Again, if you ever would like to ask a question or raise your hand for whatever reason, that's how you raise your hand in Zoom, okay? So I want everyone to lower their hand. You can hit lower at the bottom. It says your hand is raised. Then it says lower. So don't forget to lower your hand. You wouldn't keep it up for forever because your arm would get pretty tired. So just keep that in mind. So we still have 2 hands up. So again, don't forget, it says your hand is raised. And then if it says lower, don't forget to lower your hand. Okay. Thank y'all. In addition to raising your hands, if you want to, send literally an emoji for to send your encouragement or your congrats, whatever reason, you can utilize the reaction bar here. You can send a clap or a thumbs up, a heart, a laughing emoji, any option, or you can hit these 3 dots and choose any of Apple's emojis to utilize as a reaction. So just wanted to note that. And you don't have to do every session, right? I mean, I don't, but it's a lot of fun sometimes. You can see other folks' reactions in the participants list. Okay, so I love those. Whoever sent those flowers, thank you. Oh yeah, those are lovely, and thanks so much for sharing. Give me 1 second, you all. Just having some difficulties right now. Thank you for your patience. Yeah, so you can, again, raise your hand or send a reaction in Zoom. Those are some of the main things to utilize when you are in Zoom to, again, have the most immersive and seamless experience. 1 second. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Yep. And right after sending a reaction, y'all, the next thing that we usually go over is sending a chat. If you want to communicate with others non-verbally, the chat is a great way to share a greeting, ask a question, send your congrats, information, anything you like to share, just use the chat and it's a lot of fun. You do that by tapping more at the top right. So if I go back to Zoom, then I hit more. I'm going to go ahead and hit on chat. Okay. When you hit chat at the bottom, it says tap here to chat. And once I tap on that area, you see the keyboard comes up, and then you can type in whatever you like to share. Again, just a simple hello, happy Monday, hope you have a great day, hope you had a great weekend. Anything you like to share. Happy Holly today, as you saw in my background in today's email. I'm gonna write hello, and then I'm gonna send some emojis because one of my favorite things to do with this iPad. Anything nature related, I'm gonna put in there. Yeah. You can even send a picture if you want. If you hit this plus sign next to tap here to chat, if you have a photo in your Photos app, you can share it to the chat in Zoom, which is again a lot of fun. So nature, 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 nature. Let me go with this one, my usual nature. So yeah, you can even send a picture in the Zoom chat if you want. So yeah, good morning, everyone. Spectacular day. Thank you so much. What's this one? Oh, I love this picture, Brenda. I love it. Good morning. Thank you. Happy Monday, everyone. Yes, and let's all have a great, wonderful day. Love it. Thank you. Wow. That picture is really neat, Mrs. Stephen. Thanks so much for sharing. And yes, that is how you utilize the chat in Zoom. And as you can see, it definitely put a smile on my face. So I hope y'all reading the chat also, you know, gave you a smile. So thank you all. Also, additionally, in the chat, I would really appreciate if you all could share, throughout today's session, what Zoom session or sessions are you looking forward to this week and why? As you all know, every week we have at least 15 sessions a week covering everything from advanced trainings that for example, you're attending today. We have our talk shows Tuesday through Thursday at 10. We have our lunch clubs and our 1:30 p.m. sessions. So, there's a lot to look forward to. So please just share in the chat if which ones in particular that you fancy, and I would love to see that. So in the chat, please share what sessions you're looking forward to this week and why. Today, again, we'll be talking about the benefits of a Zoom account, a little bit about Zoom, of course, how to sign up for a Zoom account, and of course, some Zoom account features that you can utilize when you do, in fact, have a Zoom account. So really quick, this slide may seem familiar from module 1, but yeah, Zoom, I always like to give a little bit of context, right? Zoom is a cloud-based video communications app that allows you to set up virtual video and audio conferencing, live chat, screen sharing, and more. So again, Zoom gives us the tool and gives you all the tool to learn and for us to teach over Zoom, which I think is amazing. Like I can't believe this is how we, can, work and operate, these days, so much just by technology, which I think is just amazing. And is an account required to use Zoom? The answer is no, you don't have to have an account to attend a meeting, which is great in and of itself, because as we'll learn in a little bit, other video communications apps makes you have an account just to attend a meeting, even if you're only going to do that per se one time. But again, that's a great strength of Zoom. But an account is required to start your own meeting. So if you ever wanted to meet virtually with someone and you wanted to host a meeting, you do need an account um, to create a meeting and invite others. And sometimes if the host of the meeting turns the setting on, you will not be able to join a meeting unless you do have a Zoom account. So, it's like, I would say maybe like 5% of cases, but you always want to be ready, or just in case things like that happen, where again, you need an account to join the meeting, but that's not all the time. Who uses Zoom? Zoom is now the video platform of choice for federal governments, tech startups, and of course, regular people looking to chat and even party with friends and family. So again, Zoom allowed me to, get through COVID, have a live in and Always appreciate that. But especially, for, things that need to be done, this platform allowed, work to still continue and for, things to still keep going in a way. So always grateful, and many people use Zoom, and that's my platform of choice because I've used it for so many years. I think I really started to get into Zoom meetings back in 2019, 2020. So I've been using Zoom for about 5 years now, and it's a great app. um, some benefits of Zoom. Why do we use it? Why don't we use other things? And why is just video learning useful? Zoom allows us to have easy access to educational resources. Like I always say, if you all can just hit a button, click here and there, and join literally a plethora of information, I mean, that's, nothing better, right? Learner flexibility, kind of going back to the previous point, yes, it's very flexible. I mean, you can be at home, you can be um, like you could be anywhere and still learn because of the device that you have, and how easy it is to access Zoom. But Zoom also allows, for audio learners and visual learners to both learn in different ways, which is good. You can, you learn better by hearing it, or you could be someone that learns better by looking at it or by reading it, So just, by coming onto Zoom, there are different ways that we present information, which I think is really interesting. It's available worldwide. Remember one of our travel editions a few weeks ago, we had someone from Tanzania, Upendo, come on, literally on our Zoom for our travel edition on that Friday. And that was just amazing to know that they were in a whole another part of the world, but we're still able to get onto our Zoom session, which I think is amazing. There's equal opportunities for both students and teachers. So just like I talked about a little bit before, this Zoom gives, us the opportunity to share information while tech, and Zoom allows you all to come on and learn more about the world that's around you. So it's a two-way street, It also gives you improved time management skills, and myself too. I mean, our sessions, we have a session every day, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m., 12 p.m., and 1:30 p.m. So, at 10 a.m., we will be starting because, I wish we had, all the time in the world, but, for us to provide as much, we have to have, a set amount of time. So, if we start at 10, you don't want to miss anything. Well, if I don't want to miss the class or be late, I don't want to start after 10. I want to start up a little before that, But it also gives a kind of schedule and a routine. And I like having a schedule and a routine because I know what's happening at one time. I may not know the specifics until I go into the email and check out what's going on. You know what I'm saying? But it just gives you that just that time. Time is important, right? That's one thing I really did learn in school, right? If you think about like elementary and even high school, especially like from 8:45 to 3:15, that's like learning time. You know what I'm saying? And what you can do within that time. The more that you do it. So the more that you come on, the more that everything just starts to align. So it's definitely has helped me with my time management skills. Last but not least, and I think the most important, is the relationship building, and participating in online discussions just by, speaking with you all and, just presenting information, you all sharing your knowledge and your questions and all of that, I we know just a little bit about each other, and it just, gives us the community of learning and of us wanting to help each other, and, just, us learning a little bit about each other when we do, when we speak, and, especially for those that have been on for quite a bit, we know a lot about each other, which is, fun, and, we understand things, and just get a sense of, togetherness, which I think is really great because learning together is a lot more fun than learning by yourself sometimes. So, Again, I just appreciate you all coming on and, having respect and, patience and, we all want to learn at the end of the day. So I think that's what I get from you all a lot. So I really appreciate that. And let's continue to have great online discussions and great relationship building for, our not so newcomers and definitely our any newcomers that come on to our sessions. Uh, you know, we're here to help. So yeah, when you are in a Zoom meeting, again, I talk about a little bit about this in module 6 and a little bit about module 1 as well. These are some of the different options you do see when you are in a Zoom meeting, right? If no one is sharing their screen, you'll see a switch to gallery view option. So basically, if you hit these 9 dots, you can see more participants. So it'll have about 18 or 15, 20 people on, and you can just use your finger and swipe through whoever else is in the call. You'll also see if your camera is on, you'll see a switch camera option. You may see a center stage option when you do. So just see if you notice these options when you are in a Zoom meeting, okay? At the top here, you have your join audio button or the mic option. So if you have not connected to your audio, you will see join audio, right? So if you don't hear anything, if you notice people are talking, but you don't hear anything, your volume is up, you may need to connect to your audio. So you hit that join audio button, wherever it's at, whether at the top or the bottom, and then you can hit Wi-Fi or cellular data as you normally do. If for whatever reason you do not get connected to the audio when you join a Zoom meeting. You have your video button. So if you want to start your video, if you want to stop your video, that's the option for that. And again, having your video on, your camera on is not required for our sessions, but it's nice to see smiling faces, know that you're here, just makes us again feel like we're a little bit more together than us just being virtual. But again, it does feel like we are together in a way, but only because so many of you do have your cameras on, and I really appreciate that. The next button over is the share content button. So that's how you share screens. That's how I share my screen, to share the presentation. That's how my colleagues do as well. That's how you shared your screen during the one-on-one trainings. So we can make sure that, everything is set up and set up for you to start joining the sessions, etc. So it's just really a convenient, and I think one of the most important features in Zoom is being able to share your screen to others on a call. You have your participants button. You can see who else is in the call, right? Just by hitting participants. And then you have your more button where you see for more, there's different options like raising your hand, using the chat, changing your virtual background. Again, which we'll be talking about during module 6 this week on Friday. But this is in general what your Zoom will look like when you are in a Zoom meeting. Some benefits of having a Zoom account. So having a Zoom account, one, it's free. There's unlimited number of meetings up to 40 minutes each. I think it's 45 now, but I think it may still be 40. I'm not sure on that. There's secure HD quality audio and video. Some of you all literally look like you are here, but just on the screen, you know what I'm saying? The front camera of your iPad is really a great, it's a great quality, and especially with Zoom and how, updated it is, it allows for, your video and audio to be crystal clear and very high quality. You can, again, screen share. You can share your screen when you are in a meeting, so you can share whatever information is on your iPad. And again, having a Zoom account, just being signed in or have an account, you can sign into other devices as well. So I'm just not signed in on this account on my iPad. I'm also signed in on my phone, and then if I needed to on my desktop for whatever reason. So it's there, and the settings, kind of transfer over in a way which I think is very convenient. Next up is a video that we'll be watching. Again, just, because we have afterwards, creating a Zoom account, it's just this, and that, what I'm saying? It's very quick. So I just want to share this video on the Zoom's company story. And if you all heard of Skype before, on how Zoom kind of in a way became the throne of video communications apps. So I think this video is quite interesting, and I hope you all find it as well.
This video was brought to you by SlideView, a platform for startups and small businesses to create professional investor decks and sales presentations. Get 1 free month by signing up at SlideView. Taking the world by storm. But in the presence of giants like Microsoft and Skype and Teams and Google with its Hangouts, why is everybody using Zoom? To find the answer, we must go back a few years. And yes, spoiler alert, this is forensics, so not all of it is glitter and glamour. Alright, so let's talk about one of the most popular apps right now, Zoom, and how it became successful. The origins. If you search Google for the keywords Zoom and successful, you might be surprised to see articles praising the software that date back as far as, well, when it launched back in 2013. The reason for this praise is mostly due to this man. Meet Zoom's CEO, Eric Yuan. In the late 80s, he migrated from China to the US to work in tech. He had the vision that one day technology would allow portable, easy-to-use video calls, and this became his obsession. As an engineer, he landed a job in a company called WebEx Communications. From the start, Yuan became a key player in developing their video conference software. WebEx became one of the first options for video calls in the market, and at first, it seemed geared for success. So much so that Cisco acquired WebEx for $3.2 billion in 2007. Yuan doubled down on his efforts to improve the software, at the same time climbing up the ranks, reaching the rank of VP of Engineering. Under his guidance, WebEx grew to more than 750 engineers and had annual revenues of more than $800 million. WebEx wasn't only one of the first, but also the most complete video conferencing tools, so it was a hit at the time. But it wasn't perfect. Connectivity was unstable, audio and video would lag, and the installation process was frustrating for IT departments. Remember this. WebEx managed to survive because there was very little competition in the market, but things wouldn't remain the same for long. Yuan was aware of WebEx's deficiencies. In fact, he suggested changes, but upper ranks didn't go along with them. And after dealing with a lot of resistance, he ended up leaving the company. But his time in WebEx taught him very valuable lessons. Check out what he said in an interview. Before I left Cisco, I spent a lot of time talking with WebEx customers, and every time when I talked with a WebEx customer, after the meeting was over, I felt very, very embarrassed because I did not see a single happy customer. And I tried to understand why is that? And I summarized all the problems, all those WebEx customers they shared with me. This gave Yuan a north. Customers had to be happy. So he took all these new problems and aimed to create a video conference software to solve them. Was this a bit crazy at that stage? Well, others believed in his idea. In an interview with Forbes, Yuan recalls that close to 40 engineers left with him to pursue that goal. Investors believed in it too. In 2011, he raised $3 million to start his idea, and within 2 years, he had created the first Zoom iteration. And here we have to highlight a key element in his strategy. He created Zoom with a video-first mentality. Other companies like Skype had created audio first and then adjusted to video, which proved to be costly. With Zoom, beta testers were very happy with the product, and after fine-tuning some issues, it finally launched in January 2013. From the start, Zoom was massively successful. By May, Zoom claimed they had reached 1 million participants. With the launch, they clinched another round of funding, this time for $10 million, with a valuation of around $25 million. And by late 2013, another round of funding secured them $6 million more and doubled the company's valuation. By 2014, Zoom had claimed 10 million users, but why was this so good? Zoom's recipe for success. Zoom was great because it provided a lot in exchange for very little. Tech magazines like CNET highlighted its 3-in-1 package. HD video conferencing, mobility, and web meetings, all for $9.99, which was cheaper than other options which only provided 1 or 2 of these services. Zoom was as compatible as it possibly could with browsers like Firefox, Chrome, and Safari. It also detected devices instantly, so there was no need to have versions for Mac or PC, and its data use was low enough that it worked well even in slow or weak connections. Plus, Zoom had free features that other competitors like Skype charged for at the time, like group video calls. Microsoft would eventually learn from their mistakes and make them free on Skype. But Zoom didn't tend only to the users. Remember how WebEx was particularly hard for IT departments? Well, Zoom wasn't. Cloud meetings meant intrusive installations weren't as frequent, and when they were needed, the process was pretty easy. Then there was this number, 150 milliseconds. That's all it takes for a conversation to feel unnatural. So Chief Product Officer Oded Gal has stated that they worked hard for their entire platform to ensure that those 150 milliseconds are never surpassed. But in the end, all of this is a reflection of what mattered to Yuan, people. He has insisted that eye contact is essential for success and for happiness, so the company has worked hard to make this happen as easily as possible. It seemed like there was no stopping them. Is that a unicorn? What do most, if not all, tech companies want? Well, to be profitable. But very, very few companies are able to get there, and we've said Zoom seemed unstoppable. All cylinders were firing and people loved the app and the customer service. CEO Yuan would even reply to tweets from unhappy customers. This is a quote from a former Cisco customer who ended up switching to Zoom. Zoom understands what the customer wants, and its technology and customer service satisfy them better than competitors do. So, investment came easy. From 2014 to 2016, funding increased and so did the company's valuation until in January 2017, in their Series D funding, Zoom received $100 million and finally reached a $1 billion valuation. And oddly enough, Yuan has said that they weren't even looking for funding. Sequoia, one of the main investors, just knocked on their door. Who wouldn't like that, Sequoia? So this means that Zoom was now a unicorn, a company valued at $1 billion or more, but a very different one at that. Contrary to most unicorns, Zoom was making profits year after year. So with the $1 billion valuation in 2017, solid growth in the next 2 years, it was time for the company to go public. In April 2019, when it went public, shares went up 72% from the original $36 value. That day, Zoom was valued at $16 billion. Not bad at all. Success in turbulent times. Have you noticed one thing about this episode? Zoom's success happened before 2020. It did a lot right beforehand. So it should come as no surprise that Zoom was a hit when people were sent to work from home. But it still was a surprise. Why? Because it seemed as though everything was already taken. Besides Zoom, there was Microsoft, Google, WebEx, GoToMeeting, just to name a few, but none of them provided a complete package like Zoom does. Zoom even gave users free 40-minute meetings for up to 100 people, and it works in slow, saturated internet. And of course, Zoom couldn't have predicted what happened in 2020. No one could. Since the entire world was taken by surprise by the situation, searches for webinars, video conferencing tools, and VPN spiked in a matter of days, if not hours. So all these years working on making video calls easy came in handy at the right time. People needed a tool that was ready for the job, and amidst all of them, there was one that stood out. Zoom. Is the future bright? This is company forensics, right? You know the type of companies that we talk about in this show. No one knows what will happen, especially right now, but experts have highlighted some possible areas of risk for the company, and one is its stock. Even if use has spiked, its share value is still volatile. In late March, stock traded at a value 36 times higher than what the company had estimated for 2021 because of this very same spike in use. But at the same time, since companies will definitely look to cut costs and increase employee efficiency, Zoom continues to be a tempting offer in the market. The key for them will be to turn all those sudden free users into paying loyal customers. And it's not like Zoom is free of conflict. As this crisis has evolved, reports have surged that the app is facing security issues. Not a good thing when many people are diving right into Zoom to have conferences, including Prime Minister Boris Johnson. The bad news? Well, this isn't new. Security issues have surfaced in the past. In 2018, a security vulnerability was released, and it was found that users were prone to message processing. Zoom worked on the issue, but it didn't stop there. 2019 saw Apple create an update to remove the Zoom server from its devices after it was found that the server rendered Mac computers vulnerable even after uninstalling it. Again, Zoom created patches and upped its security, and again, it didn't stop there. In the midst of the most recent crisis, reports have come up of phishing scams impersonating Zoom cloud meetings to retrieve information. Zoom is a great example of a company that did three things right. It worked hard at solving a big problem, they aimed for a problem that affected many people, and all the while focused on the customer. But Zoom might just be a victim of its own success. We don't know yet. Does that mean that you're watching the first real-time episode of Forensics as it evolves? No, I really don't think so. I think Zoom is going to keep growing like crazy. What I also think is that you might like a new Slidebean t-shirt, which you can get by being one of the first.
Yep. So that's how Zoom started. It started with the guy that just wanted to have a better customer experience for his customers. So as you can see how big that turnaround was. It took some years, it took some hard work, probably some sleepless nights, you know what I'm saying? But, that I get, he's definitely has gotten the fruits of his labor, especially with those funding rounds. I mean, wow, it just went from here to all the way up there, So I'm again, happy he had this
This
success.
video was brought to you by Slidebean, a platform for startups and small businesses.
Yeah. So at this point, we're going to actually go through how to sign up for a Zoom account through the Zoom app, just using your Apple ID. It's very, very simple to do so. You do that by, if you do not have a Zoom account, okay, when you open the Zoom app, and all of us should know the Zoom app, and then you're going to hit sign up because you're signing up for an account. You sign in when you have an account and you want to sign into it. So sign up versus sign in, okay? When you hit the sign up option, it's gonna ask you for just verify your age. So put in your birth year, And then when you do that, it's gonna ask you what you want to use to sign up for your Zoom account. So if you notice the first option where it says sign up method, it says continue with Apple. So you're going to want to hit continue with Apple and follow the prompts. You're going to enter in your Apple ID password or use your fingerprint if you have that set up. And then you'll then have created your Zoom account in the Zoom app on your iPad. So it's very, very simple. You sign up, you follow the information, you select you're creating with an Apple ID, and then you are going to then follow the prompts that you see on the screen. Okay, so when you create your Zoom account, this is what the home screen of your app will look like when you are signed in. Okay, so you notice on the left-hand side are some different options. So there's home, team chat, meetings, contacts, and more. But again, the default screen that you'll be on is home. In home, you can start a new meeting. So that's if you want to host your own meeting, you would hit meeting. If you want to join a meeting, you simply hit join, just like you did before. When you hit join meeting, it just says join now. And then there are also two options that say schedule and share screen. I don't utilize these two that much. So you can definitely explore it if you'd like, but definitely new meeting or join, I pretty much use every day or every other day when hopping onto my iPad. So yes, that is the home screen when you are signed in. The next option we're going to go over is meetings. Okay, I'm not going over team chat or contacts because again, I don't use them too much in the daily. So until I do or find a use for them, then I will go over them. There's meetings. So in meetings, you can start your own meeting. So you'll see your personal meeting ID will be located right there, but you can start your own meeting by hitting start if you want to, straight from this section. You see where it says send invitation right next to it. So you can send a Zoom invite by iMessage, by emailing it to someone, or by just copying the link to your invite and pasting it wherever you need. Edit right here is where you can edit your personal information about the Zoom meetings. So like you can enable a waiting room, you can change your Zoom pass code, you can make it so they have to have a Zoom account in order to join your meeting. So there are different functions you can do here just by going into the meetings section, and you'll see all of these different options here on the right-hand side. Okay. And then last but not least, there is the more button. So at the left-hand side, the very last option is more. You can adjust either meeting settings, or you can adjust things like account settings, like display name. You can have a profile picture if you want. So when your video is off, if you notice when my video is off, I have our logo as my profile picture, which I think is, it's cool to have, right? It's not just your initials, but it's actually a profile photo. But you can also, in meetings, like you can change your background without having to be in a meeting. You can also change like the skin tone of the, raise your hand or the different reactions in Zoom as well, which I think is really neat. So if I go into my Zoom app, okay, and I can do this even while I'm in a meeting, which I think is really neat. If I hit this arrow at the top left, look at that. This is Zoom right here. So you have your home section right here on the left-hand side. Okay, so you have your home, right? So because I'm in a meeting, it says back to meeting, but this is where the new meeting would be. And you see it says join. So that is where you would then hit join to then join whatever meeting you'd like to join. Let's go to meetings. So in meetings, again, I have my personal meeting ID right here. If I want to start it, I hit start. If I hit send invitation, I can send it as an email, right? So I can send my actual Zoom invitation as an email. So that way I have the link and the passcode. And then if I hit edit right here, then I can edit certain things. Like I can require a passcode, or I can turn that off. It says only allow authenticated users. So if I turn that on, they have to have a Zoom account in order to sign in to Zoom. But yeah, there's some different options. I can even edit the passcode. So my passcode is the number 4 if you would try to sign into my meeting, but I can change it to be anything. I can make it 2, 3, 4, whatever. I can make it any passcode I want, right? And then in more, again, there are more settings that you can utilize. Like if I tap on my name right here, I see my account, my display name, my profile photo. So I can change that if I want to. And then in meetings right here, look at that. Backgrounds and effects. I can change my background from this section right here, right? I can also, look at that. If I go down here, look, it says reaction skin tone. If I tap on that, I can change the skin tone of when I raise my hand or when I send a reaction, which I think is a really neat feature. But there are, of course, other options as well that you can use. This one at the bottom here, I think it's really neat. It says allow Zoom to automatically recognize hand gestures to activate emoji reactions. So if I raise my hand and I'm on camera, I'm assuming that it will also raise my hand in Zoom, which I think would be neat, or even a thumbs up if I send a thumbs up in that way. I'm not sure, I haven't tested those features out, but it's just cool to see what is there to utilize and see what is available, right? So again, that's how you sign up for a Zoom account. Again, all you do is hit sign up in your Zoom app. You fill out the info, you select continue with Apple. And then basically after you do that, you are signed into your own Zoom account where you can start your own meetings and adjust different settings, with some settings without having to be in a meeting, or adding a profile picture, changing your display name, etc. So there are many different features available in doing so. So at this point, we have some minutes, of course, to answer any questions about a Zoom account, if you want me to go over anything. But I would also like to assist you, some of you, if you would like, to create your own Zoom account and kind of see how that process is. So you can raise your hand if you would like assistance with creating a Zoom account. You can also have a question. If you have a question about having a Zoom account, you can also ask it here as well. But yes, we have, some time to discuss. So thank you. But I hope you all enjoyed the session today. How are you, Miss Wilda?
Hi, good morning. Yeah, I want to create my own Zoom account because I am teaching a class at my church. So you said you can offer some help. I want some help. Let's go.
Yes, no problem. So, well, discussing with you before, Miss Wilda, you had mentioned that you already had created a Zoom account.
No, I have not.
Yeah.
I've never created one. I mean,
Okay.
I've joined meetings, but I've never created my own one.
Yes. So yeah, that is a big difference because if you join, that doesn't mean you have an account.
Yeah,
So,
right.
sure. So what I need you to do, Miss Wilda, I need you to show your screen. So do you remember how to show your hand? Would anyone else does anyone else have a question about Zoom or would like assistance with that process? Or if you want to share that you did it, because it's so easy. Like all she did was hit sign up, put in that info and adjusted some things and was able to get everything together. So that was so nice. Again, any other volunteers, any other questions, please raise your hand in Zoom. Again, it was a lot of fun, again, creating an account and being able to adjust your profile photo, being able to adjust anything about certain meetings. It's a lot of fun and really easy to set up, okay? Yeah, thank you for your thanks, you all in the chat, appreciate that. And any other volunteers for today? Or anyone created their account with what they learned today? And it's very simple on your iPad. Again, it's just a few steps. You hit sign up when you get to this screen. Then you follow the information, then you hit continue, and then you'll basically be there. Okay, hi, Miss Anne, how are you today? You gotta hit unmute in the middle, Miss Anne.
I said I was asked the same question Miss Budu asked, but she did it. I came late, but I saw what she did. That's the same question I was to ask. Is that
okay? So are you saying you would like assistance with creating a Zoom account today, Miss Anne?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. So just like with Miss Wilda, I need you to share your screen. So at the top, I need you to hit share content, please.
Share content.
Then hit screen for me. And then I need you to hit start broadcast, please.
Okay. Stop.
And then you'll see it count down. Okay, good.